Hey everyone, welcome back to a continuation of the crowd series. In this one, we're going to talk about avoidance and just a few other little things, and then you guys will be all set. So first up, I wanted to talk about just my scene. I've added a few things here and just wanted to make sure you saw it so you weren't like, what's going on? So basically all I did was just add a bit of environment. Here's my This is where we left off last time. Here's my zombie crowd. There's my android running away. I've got a camera in here set across. This is on the other side of the building, so we're looking kind of through this doorway that the android is running to right here. So for your scenes, you're going to want to do something similar. Get a good, nice environment in there. Try to tell a story. Um, and next up, let's talk about placement. So one thing that you may want to do, depending on your environment, um, I've got this crowd kind of placed at the opening right here, and that's all handled in this transform. So if I go back to this transform and zoom in, you can see that my agents are all here, on top of one another, and all I did was just move them forward a bit. So when the crowd spawns, they're in position as opposed to over here or way over there or something like that. Um, in the crowdsourced node itself, just a few settings that I've messed with. Just to recap, so area size, this controls the size of the spawn. So basically all this is doing is just a bunch of particles. Um, I've upped my agents to 500 and the density scale as well, excuse me. Whoops, that. And I think that's it. So next up, what we want to do is kind of start working on this avoidance. So right now, if we were to watch this, we can kind of see everybody's just kind of passing through the walls. They're not avoiding anything. They're just kind of crashing. I'm going to turn down the amount of agents too, just so you guys, just for speed's sake. So you can see they're running. They're not avoiding the wall. They're just running through everything. So we're going to fix that. So the first thing we want to do this is throw down a crowd path. And what this is going to do is calculate the paths for our various agents here. You don't need to do anything in this node. The next thing we're going to do is do a crowd motion path avoid. And then what this is going to do is um, it's going to allow us, whoops, to see, to start putting in some kind of behavior so our agents don't just run into each other. And you can kind of see what's happening. They're starting to avoid each other a little bit, but this node definitely is going to need some tweaking, and we're going to need some additional information here. So this crowd motion path to work and the crowd motion path avoid to work. So we've got to go ahead and tie these agents in here, and we'll go ahead and just go in. And then what you'll see is that each one of the agents has this little sphere, this little bounds around it. And that's controlled in this node. So we're going to go through kind of each of these settings here. So under avoidance, I usually set this to something other than one, just to give you a little bit more. Each iteration is basically adding more definition to the simulation. Let's back up here too. Neighbors, I just keep this typically at default. Obstacles, you can see we don't have anything. This is not allowing us to do anything with these obstacles because we don't have any. And that's this third input. So all I'm going to do is do an object merge. Then I'm going to go out and find my environment, which is in my set here. And I'm going to go back out to my environment just real quick. I just noticed that there's whoa, what's going on? Um, I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. Just put a null. I'll call this out, set, out. Now we've got it up there. Now we're back in our crowd, and you can see we've got our set brought um, into our crowd, right? So we're going to take this, we're going to pipe it into the obstacles, and then go back to our crowd motion path avoid. And you're going to see something pretty different now. And we can see some of our agents are choosing to go around, and some are going right down the middle, right? So this obstacle distance is really important because that's what these things are calculating off of. It's calculating so 10 units of avoidance, so everything is kind of going, all these agents are going towards the middle. So let's lower this number down to something more reasonable. You can see it's starting to spread out a little bit, which is what we want. The next thing we want to do is go into our steering, and this is basically if this guy runs into if this agent runs into something, how much determination does it have as far as how it rotates to avoid that thing? And a max turn rate of 90 means it's going to hit something and just it has the ability to go 90 degrees in the wrong direction, and we don't want that. So, and hopefully this is the right thing to do. If not, please feel free to let me know in the comments. But this is just the settings that I've got to work to get the right outcome. And now you can see nobody's going around the building anymore. Everybody's going into this. And if we play it, there will be some errors, obviously. And you can see it's still not totally working for us. Like they're kind of going in there, um, but it's not perfect. So we need some more nodes, obviously. Um, I think we're done with this motion path avoid. So now we just need to evaluate that with our crowd motion path evaluate. And we're just going to plug these in here. And then now it's going to evaluate. You don't have to do anything as far as settings here. And then we're going to hit play. And some of them are still going to go through, but you'll see the majority of them kind of start to, you can see them going and avoiding that wall. Um, Again, it's not perfect, right? These are basically kind of early simulations of crowds. There's all kinds of stuff we can do to improve this. But again, this is just to get you guys just informed about crowds and kind of get you moving in the right direction. And you can see eventually they all kind of go through that little hole, which is super cool. And that's the gist of it. You could put more objects in here. There's all kinds of things you can do for the avoidance. I just chose walls just for something easy, um, but this should get you to have your agents in a scene and avoiding each other and other obstacles. So now, if we want to, I can go back up to my crowd source, crank this number back up again, and then I'm going to go back to my camera, and I'm just going to watch and see what happens. I'll play that, and we'll be all set. You can see the zombie horde coming after our android. Here they come, rah, spilling through the doorway, which is really cool. It kind of creates this pretty dramatic effect. And that's that. Thanks, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.